Palantir passed $10 today. It's up 30% for the week, and it is up massively from its rally based on their pretty awesome earnings. It's not giving up the rally yet. Palantir, $10. In this video, I want to talk about my thoughts for why I believe the stock is $10. This really isn't a video diving into the fundamentals of the business, of the growth, or anything like that. It's just a video to honestly give my thoughts for why I think the stock has finally moved a significant amount this week. It's had one of the really best weeks in the entire stock market, and why analysts and Wall Street are giving it a little bit more love. So first, let's talk about this. I think you're either an angry Palantir shareholder today because you realize you didn't buy enough of the dip when it was at $7, $6, $8, or you're a happy Palantir shareholder today because you did buy the dip and now you are getting the rewards of buying that dip by seeing your investment appreciate. So there's two types of shareholders today. I'm a little bit of both. I'm really happy finally seeing it rise a little bit more and seeing analysts really give it the value that I think it deserves, at least at some level, and we'll talk more about that. But most likely I should have bought more. And I was buying at 6, 7, 8. I was buying at 5.97. I was buying at those prices. Should have been buying more. You know, when your conviction is there, your conviction is there. Nonetheless, I do think we will have another buying opportunity. I'll talk about that more in a second. But we're going to have to wait and see. So first, macro level reason I think Palantir is up. The entire market is up. Roblox is up 22%. Roku is up 20%. You've got Nvidia, Tesla that went at 190 the other day. Now it ballooned up to 214. A lot of the markets seem to take in the CPI data that came in at 6.4%. So analysts, Bank of America, Deutsche Bank, Citibank, they all projected 6.2, 6.3%. We got 6.4%. Eggs are up 70% year over year. Shelter made up about 44% of the CPI. If you actually project the CPI in a much more deeper calculation where we might be at 6.7%, not 6.4. Nonetheless, the market didn't care. I mean, the market ultimately realized that CPI is coming down, inflation is coming down, which means the Fed is going to have to react to that at one point. And when the Fed does react to that, they're probably going to react to that in a less hawkish of a way. So the market kind of took in that data and they said, well, it's coming down. It's not, it wasn't anything egregious. Like it went from 6.5 to 6.9, right? Like that would be an egregious spike in inflation. That means the Fed is not doing its job. You've got maximum employment. You've got a Fed that's starting to act at least more dovish. So at some level, the market's saying, even if it's not a bull market, we're going to give some of these stocks a little bit more fair valuation and a little bit more of a premium on their multiples that we just haven't been doing for the past couple of months. So I think that's sort of the macro reason, which goes to my point for why I also think we will get another buying opportunity. I think Palantir can easily fall back down to $8 if we have a little bit of a swing in the market, things go south. I mean, maybe it takes a couple weeks, a month or so. I wouldn't bet that that's definitely going to happen, but we also didn't bet that it could go up 30% in a week. So I think it can easily come down as market sentiment may shift for the entire macro, which means I do think there will be another buying opportunity, but I also don't think it has to necessarily go that way. Could just be flat at $10 for a while like it was back in June and May of 2022. So we will see where it goes from there. So that's the first reason. The second reason is analysts. So I want to share a Twitter account from @thecameroon, awesome Palantir Twitter account that showed a ton of different price targets. So you have CFRA that has Palantir holding at $8. You've got Morningstar raising their appreciation from $8 to $9. This analyst is Malik Ahmed Khan. And again, you can follow him on Twitter. The @ symbol is on the left side to sort of read these a little bit more in depth. You've got another bank saying, hey, we actually think they can get to $13. Forget $8. We think they're going to have soft growth. We think GAAP profitability is a sign of financial strength. And we think they're going to keep going further and further. You've got Palantir, Alex Karp, who did a speech today at a conference in the Netherlands talking about the military application of artificial intelligence and the ethical way that military application of AI is ultimately going to be implemented. So like that was, right after earnings, they're back and they're doing press and they're talking. And then you have institutional ownership coming up. This is one example of D.E. Shaw & Co. filed a 13F disclosing 12 million shares of Palantir. This ended December 31st, 2022. Now they could have sold because we don't know since then, but they used to have 4.6 million shares. So they had a 172% increase from 4 million to 12 million. I don't think you would sell, I don't think you would sell that quickly if you're going to increase your position by 172%. So obviously there are various institutions that are seeing something unique in Palantir and they are buying the dip and they are getting rewarded today for having buying the dip because now Palantir is at $10. Why is all of this happening? I think Wall Street and analysts are starting to recognize that profitability was the one thing that Palantir did not have. And there's a lot of things, there's a lot of problems, there's a lot of issues. Guidance was low on growth and go-to-market sales strategy is still unclear, but at the end of the day, they're profitable. No one can say that Palantir is an unprofitable company. Now, they need to maintain GAAP profitability for the upcoming future, and if they're able to do that, they will be taken even more seriously from Wall Street. But every analyst report that I read has said either we're going to keep it at 8, we're going to bump it up to 9, or we're going to get it to 13, 15. And you know, what more can you ask for in a tough macroeconomic environment? A company that has 2.6 billion in cash, no debt. I mean, it kind of makes sense. So, and then, you know, I don't want to get into this video about all the fundamental reasons you think Palantir like could really explode, but at its core, just looking at some of those top financials, revenue growth 24% year over year in a world in which Google, Facebook, Amazon are struggling to produce that, you know, double-digit revenue growth. It's not the worst thing in the world. Obviously, we want them to grow even more, but being able to do that at least, I think is what got analysts excited, and that's why they gave them that price in the bump. So I think sort of the first core two reasons are, number one, macroeconomic. The entire market is rallying, and Palantir is rallying it with it, even though Palantir is an outlier in terms of how well it is rallying. Second is analysts across Wall Street, outside of Tyler Radcliffe, who's at Citibank, who Citi owns the stock, but Tyler Radcliffe, he's a sell-side analyst. He says not buying the growth, not buying the company, not buying the vision. So you've got some people like that are just like, no, I don't feel it. But the far majority of the reports that I've read are maintaining a buy rating and even increasing their price target simply because they think that Palantir and getting to GAAP profitability is a good thing. Final reason I think the stock is mooning today is because of us, retail investors. So I have not purchased any shares in the past couple of days because I'm not trying to chase it at $9, $10. But I used to be that type of person that did chase it at $9, $10. I bought like a cash secured put, but outside of that, the $9.05 strike prices are actually not that bad. They're doing a $58 premium on top of 100 shares at $9.50. So you know, to me, it's like, I think a lot of retail sentiment ultimately goes positive when you see a stock that's up 10%. It's a funny, cool name. You're like, what is this? You Google it, you YouTube it, you find a bunch of videos. There's a lot of sentiment. You know, this is going to happen to SoFi. This is going to happen to a lot. Open Door have this and might have this again as you know, their community is pretty strong. We'll see. But when a stock has a strong community, 53% of Palantir is owned by retail investors, and it moons, you've got a lot of retail that's just going to chase it. And you know, that's just the nature of the game. People, it's FOMO. This is what happens with Tesla all the time. And so I think a hard part of the rally, which is also going to be on the downside, you know, when Palantir falls 10% in a day, 5% in a day, then a lot of people are just going to sell. They're going to be like, screw it, and getting out of this position, maybe take the profits. But at least on the up days, you have people that want to chase. Even if it's for a swing trade, people want to chase. They want to buy the stock. They want to see how far it can go. And that momentum kind of just builds on top of each other. And you get all these positive reports. And, you know, they're actually GAAP profitable. It wasn't a bad quarter. All of that stuff collides to put Palantir up 30% in a week, which we have not seen in a very, very long time. So congrats to Palantir longs. We've still got a very long way to go. Again, I do think this stock can get back down to that $7, $8 range. It is very likely it happens just based on the irrational nature of the market. But at least for now, the market and Wall Street seem to be pretty happy with their earnings report. I know their guidance and their projections weren't the best, but profitability is profitability. A dollar of net income is a dollar of net income. And when you've got a dollar of profit, Wall Street takes you a lot more seriously. And that's why I think Palantir is rallying up to $10 today. So thanks so much for listening, watching. How much are you up? If you don't mind disclosing, put it in the comments. How much are you up? How did you feel today seeing Palantir go up to $10? And are you excited for the future of this company? Because I know I am. It's gonna be a bumpy ride, but let's see how it goes. Thanks so much for listening, watching. I will see you guys in the next one.